I was sitting here between takes of educational videos, and I played a chord, just sort of fooling around, sitting here. I think I duplicated a Jaco Pastorius harmonic chord, which was this sound. And Sarah, sitting behind the camera, jumped up and said, "That is so gorgeous. I've never heard a bass do that before because it's not something that I do in my playing." And she was totally intrigued. So I thought maybe for some of you who are interested in how Jaco acquired this remarkably original approach, I'll explain it as best as I understand it. I come from an era, and Jaco was of an era, where we used our ears to tune our basses. We didn't use tuners. And in doing so, Jaco over time discovered that these harmonic notes were pitches, literal musical pitches. So while he played it to tune the bass, he began to experiment and discovered that there's a series of harmonics on a neck and would continue in other strings. And by figuring out the different harmonics on a bass neck, he began to create chords, harmonic chords, and would put them into compositions. He would play, if a band is playing a G major, he would play it because he found that sound attractive. And he would do it also over C major. And the reason that it seems to have been so impactful is because bass strings ring longer than guitar strings do. Because of the double thickness of a bass string, a guitar string will vibrate and then die out, whereas a bass string tends to ring forever. And will continue and will continue and will continue. And by the nature of the fact that it is an octave lower than a guitar, when you play harmonics, you're essentially playing partials that are only limited to this sonic area for the most part. And it has its own richness. It's the best definition I can say. It has its own particular sound, its own richness. And because the contribution was so powerful, I listened in the early days to Jaco, fell on the floor, and when my jaw was lifted up to close my mouth, I didn't listen to him anymore. He was so strong and so original, and my ear is such that I would gravitate to anything that attracted me, that I felt it would be harmful to me as a musician, as a bass player, to enter into that area, which I did for a minute and then extracted myself out of. That's the genius of this guy. He is so utterly original and so brilliant that for just about the most part, I don't play harmonics. I might occasionally play like a... That's about all that I'll do as a harmonic, or play a note or something of that nature if I can't quite get high enough. So that's my little explanation of the great Jaco Pastorius, and as best as I understood, his genius to create sounds on a bass that had never been created before. Thanks for listening.